Welcome to the Real Estate Tech Show, where two of the nation's top experts on real estate share with you their favorite tech tools, tips, and tricks to help you explode your real estate business in productivity and profits. So get strapped in, because Cory and Joe are about to lead you behind the curtain of the most relevant and effective real estate investing tools and strategies on the planet, starting right now.
What is going on? How are you? We are on, I believe, Joe. It's episode 4, isn't it?
That's right, baby.
Yes. Welcome to the Real Estate Tech Show. Make sure that you go to reitechshow.com to get your goodies, and you'll get our toolbox, which is Joe and myself's top 5 favorite tech tools that we use in our business on a daily basis. And speaking of that, Joe, last episode we talked about my top 5 favorites, which it was so hard to get down to just 5. I mean, there's so many we use. But this time we're going to talk about your top 5 favorites, and I know that you're at a camp right now, so we're not going to share the screen, but we've got your video, and so we can just talk about the tools that you have and how you use them. How's that sound?
Sounds good. So I apologize, I don't have my regular podcast mic. We are out in the woods about an hour north of St. Louis, Missouri right now, and I'm on my iPhone as a hotspot, and so I'm in this one little pocket of the entire park where there's cell phone coverage. So I'm pretty happy about it. I got 20 megabytes download speed and 2 megabytes upload speed. So this is the video that we're getting. It's not bad.
It looks good.
My son, this was last minute. My son has a friend who's a birthday party. They're camping and hunting squirrels right now, Cory. They're out there killing squirrels, and we're going to have squirrel stew tonight. So, yeah, that sounds really good, doesn't it?
I don't know about that. Aren't squirrels supposed to collect nuts? You're going to have squirrel nuts stew?
They just look like giant tree rats to me, man. They just look like giant tree rats.
Joe, we should probably talk about a little bit of, we should introduce ourselves. This is Joe McCall. I call him Joe McCall because it's so much fun to say that. This is the infamous Joe McCall. Some people call him Podio Joe because he knows a lot about Podio, and one of the kind of the grandfathers, if you will, of bringing Podio into the real estate tech world.
And my gray hair, I have the gray hair to prove it.
My brother says I earned every single one of those. My name is Cory Boatwright, and I run a real estate investing business here in Greater OKC area. We do anywhere from 80 to 100 real estate wholesales every single year, and continuing to move into new things like multifamily, which is super exciting. But Joe and I are excited about talking about the tech tools that we use to run our business. Joe also has a real estate business. Joe and I both have coaching businesses. Joe specializes in lease options, is really an expert in that. I focus in wholesaling. Joe does wholesaling as well, but I focus on wholesaling, and Joe focuses on lease options. And so make sure, if you have interest in that, we're going to have some links going over to reitechshow.com. You'll see some links on there. Be happy to talk with you to see if you're a good fit, if you have interest in real lease options or wholesaling. But Joe, I want to use the time wisely today, because I know that it may be limited where you are. Let's talk about your top 5 favorite tech tools that you use in your business.
Let me say something real quick, Cory. You see this? You see my hat?
I do. I see that.
It says SLU. I just got my MBA, baby.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That is so cool. I just got my
MBA. So here's the thing. I've been self-employed since 2009.
Joe, do you see this? You see this? This is my MBA. Yeah. This is my MBA.
That's a great book.
We both know Russell. Good friends.
Have you read Expert Secrets yet?
I have. I got that one just right here next to me. Sure do.
Fantastic. Well, anyway, I started this MBA 12 years ago, and I just said, you know what? I've got to finish it.
It's incredible.
I don't need it, but I had to finish it, so I did.
Why did you finish it, Joe? What was just quickly, what gave you that motivation to do it? Was it the kids, your wife, or yourself?
One of my biggest reasons. The kids were one of the biggest reasons. I wanted them to show them that they need to finish what they started. One of my girls asked my wife, she said, why did Dad take so long to take that test? And then when I was there with in the graduation ceremony, everybody was younger than me, right?
Right.
And so and they know that they like the fact that I am a boss, so like they'll say, so they ask my wife, since Dad's so much older than all of them, is he the boss of his whole team? They thought it was a team. But anyway, so today we're going to talk about my 5 favorite tools, and I'm just going to run through this real fast because I think a lot of people have heard of these, and it was hard to come up with these 5, Cory. And the cool thing too, by the way, Cory, I'm excited about this show and doing these episodes. Over the last week, since we recorded our last episode, I've talked to at least 1 or 2 other people that have software that I want to interview on the show. Mm-hmm. And one of these guys I'm super excited about, we're going to be talking about so we're going to spend, in the future, we're going to be spending more time focusing on like each one of these tools and diving deep into them and interview people that create them and stuff like that. So
even some demonstrations too. We'll have that lined up as well.
So the other thing I want to tell you guys first, if you text the word tech, the 38470, text the word tech, T-E-C-H, you'll get a special bonus from me and Cory, where we'll give you a PDF of all of our top 10 favorite tools with links on, little video tutorials and things that we've done to kind of dive deep into that. But my number 1 favorite tool, Cory, you ready? Podio.
Shocker.
I know, it's shocker. P-O-D-I-O. Podio. It was started by some company in Denmark, maybe, the Netherlands, somewhere up there. And they're now owned by Citrix. And Citrix just bought Globiflow, which is another subsidiary, kind of third-party thing.
And they also own the GoToWebinar as well, and GoToMeeting.
GoToMeeting. Citrix owns a bunch of software. But what it is, it's a design your own database. I guess it's a good way to call it. So it's a drag and drop tool where you can you build your own CRM. You can build your own database. And I heard about it from a coaching student. I was coaching him on wholesaling deals in Oklahoma, in your back neck of the woods.
There you go.
From the country of Lebanon. He lived in Beirut, and I was training him how to wholesale deals. And he was actually wholesaling a lot of lease options in Oklahoma City. And he had some boots on the ground. But we were talking about, okay, we want to manage this project. How are we going to do it? So we were looking at Trello. We were looking at other tools like Trello and stuff like that. And Smartsheet, which is another great tool. And so we looked at, he said, hey, let's take a look at Podio. And I said, nah, I'm not interested in learning something new. And he said, no, check it out. And within about 30 seconds, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And so basically,
what made you say that, Joe? Because of the versatility, because of the customization, because it's not designed specifically for real estate, right? So what made you go, wow?
You could use it in any business, and it's just drag and drop, whatever you want to track. So you can picture a blank canvas, and you want to track seller leads, all right? So you drag and drop the name text field over. Then you drag and drop the phone number field and the email. And then you drag and drop the categories, which you can track then new leads, old leads, cold leads, dead leads, whatever you want.
Yes.
Then you drag and drop date fields. You drag and drop links and attachments. And you save it. Now you have a table. And on that table, then you put in your leads. And it gives you really good web forms. It's very web mobile friendly. It has really good mobile app. On the iPhone and Android, you can use web forms. So if you have virtual assistants that are putting in data into your database, you don't have to give them access to your database. You just give them a web form. So if you're using a call center, that call center just puts in leads into the web form, which feeds your table database. and it's beautiful.
Yes.
And then the cool thing about it, what really took me over the edge was you can create, it starts off with an organization, your company, and then underneath that you have workspaces. And workspaces, you can have a workspace for land deals, a workspace for listings, lease options, rehabs, fix and flips, different workspaces. And then inside that workspace, you can give permissions. So you could say, these VAs have access to this workspace, and I'm going to share it with these people and not these people.
I'm putting some notes down here, Joe, so we can also have some of these in the show notes as well. So make sure you check out the website. We'll have it on the show notes. Keep going. So yeah, so you have the workspaces, so you can divide up individual kind of groups into in different divisions.
Right. So like what we do is we have workspaces for different markets. We're doing deals in different markets. So I'll have a workspace for the Tampa, Florida, St. Pete market. I'll have a workspace for Phoenix and St. Louis and our land business. We have workspaces for different areas of the country. And so then you can share different permissions with people.
Yes.
Then inside the workspace, you have apps. And there's a bunch of different apps. So for example, we'll have an app for seller leads, buyer leads, contracts, maybe offers. You can have apps for a lot of different things, whatever you want. So it's not like there's a lot of good CRMs out there, a lot of good tools, but the problem is sometimes you have to fit into their mold, into their box.
Right. So like FreedomSoft, great tool. You know, you and I know Rob that owns that now.
Yeah.
Former Preston that helped design some of it in the beginning. So we've been through that the whole time. That's a great, excellent tool. Rob is even making it better and better. Realeflow, also good friends of ours. Greg Clement and Josh, have that. And so just an excellent tool there. There's some other CRMs that are, probably, good to mention at some point too. But Podio, has the versatility that allows you to scale in a way that the others, it's not that they can't, but it's different because, like you said, you have to fit in a box of frequently type of activities that are used when the system was built, which here's what's good about that. 95% of the investors, will never need a lot of extra customization things because they're not going to probably do 80 to 100 deals a year or 200 deals a year. But once you start getting to a place where you're doing a lot more deals, then you need, in my opinion, something a little bit more customizable for your individual business. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. So because it's so flexible, there are some drawbacks. For example, it's not as easy to create contracts.
Yes.
Or to communicate with by email or by texting with other people outside of Podio. So the advantage of something like FreedomSoft, which I love, and I recommend FreedomSoft to a lot of people who aren't comfortable with building their own databases. If you want something right out of the box that's plug and play and go, then get a tool like FreedomSoft, right?
Or Realeflow, both those two.
Or Realeflow,
right.
Yeah. There's a lot of them. We'll talk about the other CRMs in this show in future episodes. So, but for me, the way I use Podio, I do my land deals. We flip vacant lots. I do regular wholesaling deals. I do lease option deals. I'm in multiple different markets, and so I'm partnering with other wholesalers in other markets, and they have their own workspaces. And I also manage my whole admin team. So we track expenses. We track timesheets when you clock in and out and what you do during the day. We track vacation time requests, standard operating procedures, all this bunch of stuff that we track inside of our Podio. And that's the beautiful thing about it is completely customizable to track whatever you want. The drawback sometimes is you have to have third-party integrations, right? So if you want to send emails outside of Podio, you need a third-party integration. If you want to create
like
contract,
a third party, like if then that, or a Zapier, right?
Yeah. Or there's tools like Globiflow. So it's a great platform to start from, and there's a lot of things I like about Podio. I believe the benefits far outweigh the costs. the drawbacks of using it. So Podio is my number one favorite tool, and the mobile apps are very friendly on an iPhone or iPad or Android. Podio is awesome. And no matter what industry you're in, you may be listening to this and you work for a construction company. You can create custom-built apps inside of Podio to manage all of your submittals and your requests for information. I call them RFIs when I was in construction. Your schedule, your bill of materials, your scope of work. So we have workspaces that we built, custom apps for property management, for rehab, and about 2 or 3 other things I forgot right now. So Podio, check it out. And it's only like, what is it, $14 a month?
Yeah, it's pretty inexpensive. And, now with the acquisition of GlobeFlow, they're making some changes, but we're still talking about a tool that's very inexpensive and it's an absolutely mandatory tool to have a CRM for your business. It's just mandatory. And we track with Podio, we track our transaction coordination, we track all of our contracts go in and out of there. You can hit a button and it sends an email to a homeowner and they can sign the contract with right signature or sign now. You can you can create templates for those things to be signed on. You can text right out of the system with the integration with Twilio and some other text tools that you can use.
We should mention Investor Fuse as well.
Investor Fuse, yes.
Investor Fuse is a great tool that's built on Podio, but that has all that other third-party stuff kind of built in. So yes. If you sign up for Investor Fuse, that'll cover all of that. There's some other good tools out there, but we'll have Dan Schwartz on the show here soon to talk about Investor Fuse.
Yeah, Dan's one of the founders, and John is one of the guys in operations that does a lot more of the day-to-day. So we'll get both those guys on. Joe and I both know them real well. And a fantastic tool. That's like a wrapper for Podio, if you will. So you don't have to figure out how to make Podio a real estate centric tool. It essentially has everything you can imagine built into it, and it is a fantastic tool. Lots of folks use Investor Fuse and have success with it. Again, it is one of those tools as well that it's built on their platform, though. So you're going to be limited to the things that they allow that you can do. Now, what's great about it, because it's built on Podio, they have options to customize the platform a little bit, but they stay pretty much in their configuration box. And they get a lot of the feedback from investors on what they want. They do continuous every 2 weeks or so calls on training. So that's another great benefit for Investor Fuse. So yeah, we'll get those guys on here and they'll talk more about it.
Tool number 2.
Yes.
Slack. Love Slack. Do you use Slack?
I don't use Slack. It was Slack. A little bit of a confusing. It was a great real-time tool, but it was just more workspace and everything. Now I know my partner Sean, he loves Slack. I tend to use Facebook and Skype a lot more, but Slack, I know a lot of people love it and use it, and it integrates with everything.
Slack is amazing, and the reason why I love it is it's a all-in-one communication tool.
Yes.
So I was getting so frustrated before trying to keep up with email. If you were to see how many unread emails I have in my inbox, you would blush. I have like 84,000 unread emails in my inbox right now. It's insane, right? And with Slack, everything, it's only my team is in Slack, right? I don't use Slack to communicate with outside people, but my team, we use Slack. And it's like your email, instant message, Skype, and Facebook Messenger, chats, all in one. And so what we do is you create channels. We have channels for every different aspect of our business. And then you can do direct messages with people. But if you have a message you want to share with somebody, you put it in that channel and you tag them and they get an alert. And but it keeps everything so much more organized. So if you have to go back and look up a conversation, It's much
Much
easier.
easier, yes. Yeah, I love the search capability with Slack. That is a great benefit.
So you can create a channel for important documents, and you attach important documents in there. Then you can go to that channel to find those documents. And so it's really good, mobile friendly. You could use it on a Mac PC, on an app or a browser. And you can even now do live video calls. You can share screens inside of Slack if you wanted to. And so you can do private direct messages with one-on-one with people, or you can do public messages where everybody sees. It's so flexible. Since we did that, our speed of communication has been a lot better.
Yes.
And so we have my whole team on it. I love it. And I know a lot of people that have used it like it too. So best advice is check it out and test it. Play with it.
Yes.
Hey, I got number 3. You ready?
Let's do it.
Evernote.
Yes. I probably have 3,000. No, probably at least 1,500 notes in Evernote. I love the tool.
Oh, I got more than you, man. I got about 3,400.
Jeez.
3,400. So Evernote is like, for me, it's a giant diary.
Yes.
I keep everything in there, and I have different notebooks. I have maybe 12 to 15 different notebooks.
Yes. And
when I'm learning something new, or I'm even at church, or I'm writing down my sermon notes, or if we are at a workshop or boot camp, or if I'm coaching notes and if I'm talking to clients, I keep folders for all that stuff, and I keep notes. Yes. And I type in my notes like for receipts, and I'm always constantly taking a picture of a receipt, and I put it into my receipts folder in Evernote. When we find a really good tool or a recommendation, I have a folder called links and resources, and I constantly put in things in there that I might want to reference in the future. So I am always going to Evernote to do a search to find something that I maybe kept a note on before. So
I have Cory's daily things to think about. So, cause there's so many different things, but then the ones you actually do daily is ones that are obviously the most important, right? Kind of like the 80-20 rule. So yeah. I've got as well, links and resources, but I break it down to like productivity links and resources, real estate links and resources, so it's a little bit more niched out because there's so many different types of resources and links that you can get into. I got legal resources, but it's a fantastic tool because you can tag inside of Evernote. You can also put images inside of Evernote. You can put video. You can record from your phone. It has a fantastic mobile app that you can record recordings there from your phone, from you just talking. And it records as an MP3 inside your Evernote or whatever sound file it is. And, so having the shortcuts, and you can also do direct messages and work in Evernote. It is a fantastic tool. I love it. It also has a markup, which means you can bold and italicize and underline. You can separate. I use that tool probably more than any other tool on a daily basis.
One of the things I love doing with Evernote is I'll save something in Evernote, and I can share that note with a link to somebody.
Yes.
So, for example, I was just looking here. Let's say you attach a video or a document, or just your typed up notes, your audio, and you want to share that note. You can get a public link, a URL for that note. You can text it or email it to somebody, and somebody can view it. And they don't get edit permissions. They can't change the note, but they can see everything that's in it.
Right.
So it's a great way to share stuff with people. Like I keep notes. When I find a good seller postcard or a good letter, I'll save it into my swipe. I have a swipe folder.
Yes.
And sometimes I'll share that folder or that note with other people and say, hey, check this out, use this, or whatever.
This is a great thing you're bringing up here because I just recently went through, we're doing some moving and moving into this office area. And I don't know if you can see all these books kind of behind me, but there's books here, books here, books here, books here, books here. And then on top of that, there was courses. And you get courses over the years and you're like, they start stacking up because they were kind of bulky at the time, right? Bulky courses. I'm not kidding. If you see these courses, how many boxes of courses I have, large, huge tub boxes, right? Over 8, large, huge, spilled all the way up to the top of these boxes. So what's cool about Evernote is you can take pictures of, these courses and digitize all these courses, and then you can get rid of the course essentially if you wanted to. So, another really great feature is digitizing everything with Evernote. And as you mentioned too on the link for Evernote, you can go in and edit the note, and no one else can edit it if you don't want to give them that permission. So you can constantly update. So I have a link from my mom on her health. So we have a whole thing about my mom and her health, right? And so I can constantly go in there and update things that are going on. And I just tell my family, just make sure when you click the link, it'll be the most updated version of it. So that's pretty cool to be able to do that. Now, if I want to be able to have them edit it, I can create that. I can go in and I can change the option, and then they can go in and make it. And then the last thing is it timestamps. So every time you make a change in Evernote, it timestamps. You can see who made the change and when the change was made.
Yeah. One more thing I'll say with Evernote. I interviewed a guy. He used to be my acquisitions manager, and he uses Evernote as his CRM.
Wow.
For his real estate. He keeps it really, really simple. Every lead that comes in is a new note in Evernote, and he's broken the market into different areas. And then when he gets a new property under contract, he creates a new note. And inside of Evernote, you can create tasks, right? And so he will copy and paste tasks in.
Wow.
You can set reminders in Evernote, so you can say, all right, remind me in 2 days to do something on this thing. And so he's got a template. Every time a new lead comes in or a new contract, he copies and pastes that template into Evernote. And then when the lead, and he tags it on the status of the lead, warm, cold, hot, dead, whatever. And he just changes those tags. You could use Evernote as a CRM if you wanted.
That's great. Yeah, I've never heard that. That's really cool. You can also use it as a presentation. So if you don't have PowerPoint or what's the other one? Which one am I thinking of?
Keynote.
That? Keynote. Yeah. If you don't have Keynote or Evernote or PowerPoint, then you can use it as a presentation, and it works fantastic. Then you can also annotate inside of Evernote. So it's just, and they're constantly making better changes. They're upgrading it. So can't say enough good things about Evernote.
All right, good. Are we on number 4 now?
Yeah.
Number 4 is Voxer.
Yes.
Voxer as in V as in voice, Oxer, Voxer.com. Real simple. It's a mobile walkie-talkie, right? And it's a voice messaging app that you could chat real time. So if Cory and I, it's almost like a phone call. I could say something, click the button, he gets the message, he messages me back. So it's almost just like a walkie-talkie.
Yes.
And
like the old Nextel, really, like the old Nextel. Yes.
It's a great way to put it. And you can still send text and pictures. Use it like an instant messenger, but it transmits voice. And one of the coolest things is you can speed up. You know how frustrating it is to a long message.
Yes.
You can speed it up and slow it down. And you can even, like, let's say somebody sends you a really important message. You could even get a URL of that message. You can forward that message and copy it as a URL to somebody.
Yes.
You can listen to all of your messages from your phone or from a web browser. You can log in online. And so the way I use it, a couple different ways. I use it with my admin team, my assistants, if I just want to message them while I'm driving. I don't want to type and text while I drive, so I'll voice message, Voxer them. With my coaching clients, some of my clients, I give access. I give them my Voxer. So anytime they have a question, they can Voxer me.
Yes.
And at my convenience, when I have the time, I'll message them back. So we can have kind of a real-time, almost, conversation back and forth. And also with my virtual assistants. My virtual assistants in the Philippines, when I want to give them a message, instead of typing something up, I can just Voxer them back and forth. Do you use Voxer yourself, Cory?
I do. I love Voxer so much. We use it with our business every day, and you've mentioned some great things. Other things that I like about it is that you can transcribe now. So you can go in and transcribe the entire voice message. You can also forward that voice message to other people on Voxer. So they could actually hear the voice of the other person, exactly the way they said it, everything. You can forward that over to, and then you can recall. So if you accidentally send a message you shouldn't, you can recall the message. It's just a super reliable tool, and I love the fact you can get on the browser, like you said, as well. So you don't have to be on your mobile phone. You can use it on your browser, and it completely links up. The only thing I don't like about Voxer is that because you're doing these constant recordings, you're using up a lot of space on your phone. So you need to go in every once in a while and look at all of the messages that you don't really need anymore, and just delete those out because it starts to, after a while, use up some of that space on your phone. I do think that they're working on, if they haven't already, coming up with a cloud version of where they're recording everything. Or there is an option inside your phone where you can have it where it doesn't record on there either, so it's temporary. But if you want to be able to recall those messages, you want to be able to forward them, it is going to record it on your phone. So you just need to go into your options and delete those out.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a little bad connection here, but let me just say something with. I know the recording is working on my end here.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. The major thing that I like about Voxer as well is I tell people, no matter what CRM you're using, the best, most highest efficient use of your time is talking to sellers, making offers, right? Period. Yes. You should not be behind a computer all day inputting data into your CRM.
Yes.
You need to step away from the computer, right? Step away from the computer and get a $3, $4, $5 an hour VA to update your CRM for you. So what does that look like? Beginning of each day, your VA looks into your CRM and sees who you have to talk to next or what phone calls you have to make, right? Send you a simple email in your own special private email address that only your VA has, right? You open up that email and you look at the email. Inside the email is everything you need to know. You call the seller up, you talk to them, and then you Voxer your VA back all the details and get your VA to update your CRM for you, okay?
Yes.
But that's huge. If people would just learn how to get somebody else to update your CRMs for you. So when you should be out there looking at houses, making offers and doing listing presentations or whatever, and you chicken scratch your note, right? Or you put them on a Post-it note. Most of us, you get buried in yellow pages, pads of paper, you get buried in Post-it notes. Well, if you can chicken scratch those notes and then dictate them in Voxer to your VAs, get your VAs to update your CRM for you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. My son is leaving with my friends, and I'm just waving goodbye. So I got to hurry up and go. Let me give you tool number 5. Is that all right?
Sure.
How could we survive without Google Drive, Corey?
Right.
Well, how could we survive without Google, period?
Right.
So my number 5 favorite tool, because I use it so much, is Google Drive. I use Google Drive to store everything, pictures, documents. It's like, you remember you used to have servers? Do you remember what servers used to be, Corey?
Yes.
You used to have your own stack of computers. So now we've got Google Drive to store everything in there. You can share permissions, view-only permissions, edit permissions. And I use Google Sheets and Google Docs a lot.
So we can explain that. So Google Sheets is like Excel. If you're familiar with Word, it's very similar to just like Excel. In fact, you can import and export into Excel formats. Google Docs are like Word. Very, very similar to Word. So what's happened is Microsoft kind of cornered that market for a while, and Google wanted to have a piece of it. They realized that more eyeballs were on Google, and they were one of the most highly visited websites in the world. So they created that Google Doc, Google Sheets. And what's interesting about what they do than really no one else has done the same way is that they allow you to real-time collaborate. So I can be inside of a Google Doc or a Google Sheet, and Joe and I could be working at the same time, and I could see Joe, and he could see me with the little different colors on, we're working on different cells, we're working on different sections, and we could be talking and working at the same time on those docs. So that's why it's really powerful. You can also share links that can give you access. So it can give anybody with a link access to it, or it can only give people within a certain, if you're working inside what's called G Suite, which is like basically business Google, where you have your email hosted with Google and everything, then you can be inside of your own little intro web, if you will, and you can share things back and forth where only the person with the permission that can see the doc can actually see it. If they click on it without the permission, it doesn't help them out one bit. So we use it with our coaching students. We use it with our lead tracking. We use it with our expense reports. I mean, we are working parts of it in for traction. There's so many great ways that we use Google Drive, Google Docs, and Google Sheets.
I love it. There's even some really good third-party add-ons that you can add on to your Google documents. For example, Click-to-Mail, where we send a lot of our mail, has an add-on in Google Docs and Google Spreadsheets. So you can actually, if you're working on a letter, you can actually click a couple buttons, send it to Click-to-Mail, and Click-to-Mail will print it and mail it for you.
Yes, compared to like using Lob or some other service, you can just use that. Yeah, that's great.
So Google Drive is awesome. And you know what else?
What else do you use it for, Joe? So you use it for lead tracking, or do you use it for what else do you use it for?
One of the big things I use it for is like in one of my courses, all right, I'll have a bunch of like in my marketing for sellers module, I'll have a bunch of sample marketing pieces, like a bunch of postcards that I use or letters that I use. And I will save all those marketing files inside a Google Drive folder. And so in my course, I'll say, hey guys, if you want to get this stuff, here, just click on this link. And so that's a view-only link, right? So they can view all of my marketing files, and then can view them or download them into their own Google Drive folder so they can use them.
And you can prevent that from happening too. You can prevent them from downloading if you wanted to.
Really? I did not know that.
Yes, you can go into the advanced section. So when you go to share your doc, there's another section right on the very bottom that says advanced or something along those lines, and then that gives you the next layer to prevent them from actually downloading it if they want. They can just look at it only. I
did not know that. You know what would be good? Can you give them? I know Dropbox does this, but can you tell them they can only view it with a password? Can you do that?
I think you can password protect it. I'll have to check on it though. I know that there's, like you said, Dropbox does it. I'll have to check. I don't use that feature, so yeah.
Oh, good. But listen, I think my cell phone is overheating, Corey.
Is it hot?
It's really hot. I've been on it literally. I had another podcast I did and a coaching call, and this is another podcast. So I probably used up all my data.
You're going to be getting those $15 notices. You're getting ready to be charged another $15 for a gig.
But I'm sure I'm fine. But I probably should be ending this now. But I'm ruining the ozone with all of my exhaust from my diesel here.
Okay, well, I appreciate you taking the time on here while you're at camp to do this. I know everyone else appreciates it as well. And, I'm excited about, continuing to add more content and get more interesting folks that we're going to be they're interviewing here very soon with technology tools, talking about how technology can make your life a lot more efficient if you don't let that tool control you and you control the tool. Remember, this is something that, I've been living by lately. This is your employee, not your boss. Remember that.
Yeah.
This is your employee, not your boss. So your tools are things that you want to use. You control the hammer doesn't hit you in the head, even though sometimes it feels like it does when you're confused. So don't let technology confuse you. Okay. A simple way that you can easily understand most of what we discussed here today is by getting on YouTube and simply typing in how to use Podio, how to use CallRail, how to use Google Drive. And you will find that there's not only, 10,000 videos, you want to go and find the one that has the most downloads on it. And so you can sort to find the most downloads, and you're going to see why that one has the most downloads. Usually it's because it's an easy, teachable video that everyone loves. There's a lot of applicable content in there and things that you can learn from. So simple way that you can learn a lot of these things. So don't let technology run you and control you. You control technology. You are, this is your employee, not your boss.
That's a great point, Cory. That's a great point. So if you guys want these top 10 favorite tech tools of ours in a PDF, go to reitechshow.com or text the word tech to 38470, 38470, and we'll get that to you right there on your employee, not your employer.
That's right.
Phone.
That's right.
Cool, man. Good talking to you, Cory, as always. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir. Have a good time.
See you guys later.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Tech Show with Cory and Joe. Make sure you download Cory and Joe's toolkit by going to realestatetechshow.com or texting the word tech to 38470. And don't forget to leave a review of this podcast on iTunes or Google Play and share it with your friends on your favorite social media platforms. We appreciate you listening.